Okay, so I have something very important to talk with you about today. And most of you know that I am massively into true crime. It's one of my huge passions, one of my huge hobbies. Some of you may even know that I've taken forensic mediumship courses and have done some work privately with some clients in that realm. And I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I have some projects and ideas coming up. And so I was kind of holding on to the idea for making this video to save for those projects. However, with the whole Gabby Petito thing that's come up and all the psychics that seem to be coming out of the woodwork feeling the need to put their 2 cents in on this investigation, I wanted to share with you my thoughts and my opinions on that. And it may not be what you expect. So listen up. My thoughts and my opinion on psychics contributing to unsolved cases is this. Don't do it. Don't do it. And let me tell you why. You will never see me do that publicly. Now, I do work with people privately. And that's something that if you feel like you really need help with something, you've been involved somehow in an actual unsolved crime, which is still open, missing persons in particular, whatever, please feel free to send me. And I mean, when I say involved, I mean directly involved, as in one of your immediate relatives. I don't mean my friends, brothers, cousins, uncles, dogs, groomer. I mean your immediate family. Please feel free to reach out. I do this work, and I think there's value in this work. But let me explain to you why you will never ever see me doing this publicly or talking about public cases from a mediumistic perspective. Number one, there's so many reasons, and this is in no particular order, and I'm doing it off the top of my head, so I'm bound to forget something. Number one, let's use Gabby Petito as an example, okay? Because that's what's come up lately. Number one, I don't know Gabby. I don't know her. We're not friends. I've never met her. Energetically, she has absolutely no means, motivation, need, desire to come to me and tell me what happened to her. Why would she come to me? I don't know her. If you have a problem, are you going to just dial a phone and hope that whoever answers on the other line, hope that somebody answers, nobody answers the phone anymore, hope that somebody answers and helps you? No. It's the same way with spirit. Why would they just beam down to these psychics and tell them what's going on? Now listen, this might be controversial, and if you don't agree with me or I'm offending you because you do this work, then that's fine. We don't need to fight about it, okay? You do what you want to do. I'm telling you how I feel, and I don't feel it's right. So that's part of it. Now, on the other hand, if I had her mother sitting across from me, could I do a reading for her mother? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because Gabby has every motivation on the earth to come through and speak with her mother, who she loves dearly. It's just an example, right? So it's not a reading unless there's somebody sitting across from you for you to deliver the information to. It's not a reading unless there's a sitter. And so if you, as the psychic, medium, investigator, whatever you want to call yourself, are just trying to pull it in from the sky, you don't know if you're accurate or not. You have no one to verify that information on the other side from you. You have no one. If Gabby's mother was sitting across from me, what I would do is I would get Gabby to verify that it's her by delivering hard, fast evidence. I would want to know what stuffed animal she slept with as a kid, what the favorite bedtime story was, what did she look like, what were some memories. Let's talk about that stuff first before we get into what happened with her death, so that we know it's her. And if you don't have anybody to verify that information for you on the other side, it's not a reading. It's not a reading if there's no one there to verify the information for you. The main reason, though, is ethics, okay? I would never ethically do that. I would never ethically, publicly put information out about somebody when I do not have their family members' consent to read for them. Gabby's mom didn't come to me, so I have no right to publicly tell the world what I think the ghost of Gabby has to say. It is not my position, it's not my role, and it's not appropriate. Even if it could help solve the case, yes, even if it could help solve the case. Whoever just thought that question in their head, yes, even if it could help solve the case. Because if the case is meant to be solved that way, Gabby and the universe would find a way. And again, I don't really want anything to do with the Gabby Petito investigation. This is just the most recent example. Universe, you hear me? The universe would find a way to put Gabby's mom in front of me if I was meant to be a part of that resolution. So we need to remember that when we give readings to people, we can really rip open a wound, okay? And this is just in a regular everyday kind of death. When we're talking about a murder or a missing persons that's unsolved, those wounds are not even scabbed over. Those wounds are wide open. And we're not going to go in there as the medium and be picking around at it and make these people worse off. You just ethically, morally cannot do it. You have no idea. When you put something out there in social media, you have absolutely no idea who's going to see it. It could come across for the family at any point in time. It could come across the desk or the phone or the screen of the people who are deeply mourning her at any point in time. And that is not a fair thing to do to them. Let me give you an example. I'll say invested rather than involved, but I was sort of invested in you may remember the unidentified hiker, Mostly Harmless. I was an admin in the group that was sort of searching for him. And keep in mind, I did not do this mediumistically. I did this through Google searches, and I did it the same way everybody else does it, okay? I had opinions on what I thought happened to him, but it doesn't matter because I didn't have one of his family members sitting in front of me. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, when that case resolved and was wrapped up and we identified him, a couple of his family members ended up joining our group. And I, along with the other admins, were tasked with going back and cleaning stuff in the group up. Wild speculations where people talked about details of his body and the way that it was found and certain body parts, private body parts, or, decomposition, like things that the family just does not need to hear us. Could he be gay? Could it be this? Could it be that? Like all these insane speculations on what had happened and how this case got this far. And I had to go through, along with other people, and clean it all up because we didn't want to hurt the family member further by showing them that information. And I learned a real hard lesson that day. You just don't talk about people. Just don't talk about people. Don't talk about this stuff publicly, okay? Share the story, share the information, share the factual stuff, but keep your wild speculations and your theories in the old noggin. Don't put them publicly out there on the internet, okay? Because you just don't know who is going to come across it at any point in time. And you don't want to hurt people or cause them harm. Another really, really important reason for psychics not to publicly get involved is in this kind of stuff is because you could literally ruin the investigation. You could literally ruin the investigation. Police all the time keep things under wraps. People can't know every detail because they need to be able to prosecute using the evidence that they've gained. And if the evidence is already out there for the killer or killers or kidnappers or whoever it is, the assailants, whoever, to see, wild speculation out there on the news or social media, guess what? Now they have a chance. What if I'm right? What if I'm right and I put my speculations out there, the perpetrator happens to see it and then goes back and cleans that stuff up, okay? I literally could have ruined the investigation. What if I'm right and now they can't take that piece of evidence to trial because there was a whole media frenzy surrounding it? What if? You just don't want to be responsible for that. So those are 3, and I'm sure there are like a million more reasons why you will never, no matter what I do for a living, hear me publicly talk about unsolved cases and mediumship in the same sort of realm. Like I will never publicly mediumistically tap into a case. This is a promise that I have for you. If somehow I ever break that promise and you see it, it's only because I have the family's permission and I read directly for the family, okay? I can't see myself ever breaking that though. I would never read I don't see myself reading publicly, you know what I'm saying, in that kind of situation. But okay, so that's my thoughts on that. The last thing I just kind of want to remind everybody too is that when we have somebody who is investigating a case psychically, their job is not to solve the case, which is what a lot of these like TikTok psychics are claiming that they're doing or wanting to do. You and I both know that a lot of them are out there just looking for the fame and the glory, and they're full of, I'm saying it, some of you are full of shit, some of you are full of shit, and you know it, and it's lousy, and you're being lousy, and it's not good karma, and it's not going to work out for you. I also think there are plenty of you that are full of shit, but you don't know you're full of shit. I think that you think that you're legit and that you're doing this for good reasons, and if you're questioning yourself now, I would urge you to keep questioning that and maybe make some reconsiderations. You don't have to like me, you don't have to agree with me, but sleep on it at least, please. But the thing that I want to remind you is a psychic investigator's job is not to solve the case, okay? The psychic investigator's job is to pull in information from an additional source, which will help lead to evidence, which will help close the case, okay? The psychic investigator's job is not to close the case, solve the case, wrap it all up, okay? They are just a tool to pull in information that will provide, hopefully, leads for evidence, okay? Stay safe out there. Don't be going and doing any crazy stuff because now you think you're some kind of investigator. And remember to keep your ethics at the forefront of all that you do, okay? Blessings and have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.